jet.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll tell you, the ultimate way to buy back your time is to get a jet.
There you go.
I'll flex then. Like, I mean, people.
There you go.
And I walk into my house we had just bought 7 weeks before the wedding, and I found my fiance in tears in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually she just like looks at me and takes the ring off and drops it on the counter and says, "I can't do this anymore." That was the moment where I was like, all right,
I'm going to the strip club.
I'm going straight to the strip club.
You mentioned anxiety attacks earlier. Do you still get those, or did you overcome that?
No, I don't anymore.
Now you just get on a jet and be like, my anxiety's bad. Take me somewhere.
Welcome back to the Digital Social Hour, guys. I'm your host, Sean Kelly, here with my co-host, Wayne Lewis.
What up, what up?
And our guest today, Dan Martell.
What up, everybody?
Man, how's it going?
Dude, I am super pumped to be here. The production, the space, you guys run a like top notch, man. Crazy impressed.
Not bad, right?
It's awesome. And it's inspiring, man. I love it.
Yeah. What you been working on lately?
Latest is I've got a book out, Wall Street Journal best-selling book, Buy Back Your Time. Launched that a few months ago. Dude, it's honestly, I think if anybody's written a book, you would hope people read it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I had a handful of people that I love that I hope could read it because I'm a lighthouse, not a tugboat. Like, I try to be the example without correcting folks.
Right.
And it sold almost 50,000 copies in a few months and like continues to sell 1,000 copies and grow. That's the part that's blowing my mind. It's like every week it keeps growing. We're selling more copies, which I can only assume people like it and they tell people about it. So as an author, it's kind of cool.
So how do you buy back your time?
Dude, it's my favorite topic in the world, as you can imagine. Here's what I believe. I believe most entrepreneurs build companies they grow to hate, right? And usually it happens, I call it factor of 300,000, right? 900,000, 2.7 million. There's like these different like natural levels of kind of, I call it new levels, new devils. Like you have to change the way you lead at different stages. And if you don't, you'll decide to either shut it down, want to sell it, or worse, decide I don't want to grow, right? Problem is if you decide you don't want to grow, then your team's going to go find somebody else that's got a bigger vision, right? So I teach people how to do what's called the buyback loop, which is first off, time and energy audit, right? Let's just look at the stuff you're doing that you hate doing, right? And then quantify that from a dollar amount. Like what is something you're doing you hate doing that you could pay somebody very little to do for you? That's the time and energy audit. Then it's like grab that bucket of red things that are low cost, and that's your only next hire, right? Then hire somebody and transfer. That's the second part of the loop. And then the next one is fill it, right? Like what do you do with your new time? I had a buddy recently. He's like, dude, this call, we had a scheduled meeting. He said, this call is the only call I have on the calendar. Bought back all my time. And I said, buddy, you didn't understand what I was saying. You have to fill it with things that make you more money, that light you up. So if you're a podcaster, as you know, I just want you to podcast, right? When you're done, you're not editing videos and writing the copy for social or, doing anything else. You should just do your magic, your genius, your thing that's unique. And that is at a high level what I help people do at the highest level.
Nice. So you've gotten your life to a point where you do things you only enjoy.
Dude, it's bananas. I mean, I can dig in, and I don't. Sometimes I'm like scared to share because I think people think it's a bit of a flex. Why? Because I have a house manager that manages 100% of all my personal things. I have an executive assistant that manages all my corporate stuff.
What's wrong with flexing?
I don't know. I think sometimes like people, they hear somebody's further along and it's too easy to dismiss them, right? Like, oh, that Dan can do it because he's a rich white guy. I'm not an idiot. Like I get it. So I kind of like to meet people where they're at, like when they first start a company and say, okay, what did I do when I had nothing, right? I'll tell you the first thing I did at home in regards to buying back my time was I stopped doing my own laundry, stopped doing cleaning, right? Having somebody that you spend a few $100 a month to come in and to support you, that's huge, right? If you're a business owner, I want you to do business stuff, right? And on the business side, when you start off, like, don't do administrative stuff, right? You should be talking to customers. You should be delivering the service you just sold. You should be figuring out the next strategy to grow, but you shouldn't be doing bookkeeping and cleaning up the office and all this stuff. And I think a lot of folks, and I know I was this, I grew up, obviously, I ended up, in a lot of trouble as a kid, but I just grew up around people, had a different mentality where it was almost like you got to work hard, But dude, there's a difference between working hard.
Are you someone that doesn't have life insurance? Why leave anything up to chance in a worst case scenario? Luckily, Policy Genius makes finding the right policy simple, and their team of licensed experts are on hand to help you through it. Life insurance gives your family a safety net that they can cover expenses with, so they don't have to worry about money while getting back on their feet. I've had friends and family members that have passed away without life insurance, and it's definitely left us with financial instabilities. Even if you already have a policy, it may not offer enough protection for your family's needs, and it may not follow you if you leave your job. With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million of coverage. Some options offer same-day approval and avoid unnecessary medical exams. Policy Genius knows how valuable your time is. Their technology makes it easy to compare life insurance quotes from America's top insurance in just a few clicks to find your lowest price. Policy Genius has licensed, award-winning agents who can help you find the best fit for your needs. They work for you, not the insurance companies. They don't have an incentive to recommend one insurer over another, so you can trust their guidance. Policy Genius is for parents, caregivers, and anyone else who has people who depend on them. They simplify the process of getting life insurance so you can protect the people you love. They got thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and Trustpilot. Your loved ones deserve a financial safety net. You deserve a smarter way to find and buy it. Head to policygenius.com/DSH or click the link in the description to get a free life insurance quote and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com/DSH.
On things that matter versus just working hard to waste your time. And I did that for years, probably almost a decade, where I just kept thinking if I could outwork and out hustle, I'll be successful. But truth is $1 million companies were not built off $10 tasks.
Right. That was my problem the first 3 years too.
But isn't the goal is to be the result? So you know, not technically bragging, but just kind of giving your story on how you got to this level. Some people may call it a flex, but I think that it needs to be seen by the people that's coming up, because that's a place where some people desire to be. So I think it's good that you kind of explain.
I love that you say that, Wayne. Yeah, no, maybe it's a Canadian in me, man. I just, I'm a little too humble.
I think you should own it, because, I mean, we don't got that much time here. So being that result, it shows that, okay, this is possible. But who wants to meet the rich guy who acts like he's not rich, that's acts poor? Like, what are we doing?
There's no inspiration.
Yeah,
because I love the people that show me how they're living.
Like,
and then not
Brad Lee, I love him. Like,
dude,
he's
one of the funniest guys on the internet,
flex.
man.
He's the ultimate flex, but he's the result. Yeah. He's telling you, I'm the result of what happens when you put work in. So I think you should give us the results.
Dude, let me flex,
I want to hear it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love getting inspired.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll tell you, the ultimate way to buy back your time is to get a jet.
I'll
flex then. Like, I mean, people.
There you go.
Because people don't get it. It's like, if time is money, then where can I buy back days or half days or, but obviously we got to start when we don't have that, and you just got to like show up and do the work. And that's what I wrote about in the book.
What caused this shift in mindset for you? Like, what age were you when you were like, wow, I'm wasting time, man. Like, I need to step it up.
I wish it was one thing, but if I had to point to one, so I started at 17, got in a lot of trouble, almost took my life in a high-speed chase. Yeah, I stole a car, drugs, addiction, all that stuff, and luckily, when I went to pull the gun to let the cops do their job, they got stuck, and they grabbed me, and I ended up in prison for I think like 6 months, and then to a rehab center, and I ended up doing 11 months in this place that like taught me about who I was and rebuilt my beliefs. And at the end of that program, I helped this guy, Rick, he was a maintenance guy, clean out one of the cabins. It was built in an old church camp. And that's where I found this old computer. And that's like at 17, I learned to write code. Yeah. And so, but I struggled. Failed company number 1, failed company number 2, right? And it wasn't until I was like 24 that, again, it's like keep doing the same thing over and over is the definition of insanity.
Right.
And I got a mentor, this guy named Bob. I read the book, The E-Myth, The Entrepreneurial Myth, Michael Gerber, Sarah's Pies, and Bob showed me the beginnings of, you got to stop doing that. You got to do this. You got to think of it this way. Now, I'd love to say that was like the big aha, but it wasn't. 3 years into that company, $3 million in revenue, like it grew really fast. I came home one day and I was engaged at the time. And I walk into my house we had just bought 7 weeks before the wedding, and I found my fiance in tears in the kitchen. and she couldn't even talk. And eventually she just like looks at me and takes the ring off and drops it on the counter and says, I can't do this anymore. And that was the moment where I was like, all right,
I'm going to the strip club.
I'm going straight to the strip club. Oh, that's so good. See ya. No, man, it was, you know what it was? It was, like, you know what's funny is entrepreneurs like work off, and oftentimes they'll say it's for my fiance, my girlfriend, my future.
Right.
But here's the deal. Your family never asks you for any of that stuff. I have 2 young kids. Like, they never ask me for any of the other stuff. Right. They want my time and attention. And that low of like having my whole identity of being in a relationship, about to get married and crushing in business.
Wait, but did she end up leaving?
She left, dude.
Oh, so you didn't have time to correct it or nothing?
Let's just say when women decide, I don't know if you've learned this yet, Wayne.
No, I mean,
there
I
ain't,
know, but
and that was not the first time, but that was like, I'm done. Dude, wow. it like shattered me. Like, we just bought this house. You want to hear something crazy? 6 months later, I exit the company, become a multi-millionaire.
She called you back?
Nope.
Oh.
Because she just is like, hey, man, like the person that I see and I've seen is not the person that I want to build a life with.
Wow.
So where did I like say enough's enough? And like, okay, well, so I'm a driven dude.
What do you feel like you were doing wrong though? I just wanted.
Dude, I was just working. I was working 100-hour weeks, man. Oh, okay. Dude, I would show up. Let's say it was your birthday party and I'm your best friend. Yeah. I show up my laptop.
So it was just work that was.
It was 100% work. We're at dinner. I'm not paying attention. We go to her family. Like, the reason she was pissed is because I was supposed to be home an hour before. This is a Sunday afternoon because we were supposed to go to her parents' house. Yeah. And yet again, Dan's late. She's always making up excuses for me. And I just didn't understand how do I create? I'm a creator, and then also show up as a good brother, as a son, as a partner in a relationship. Because I was just so scared that if I stopped, I would lose the momentum. You know, a lot of people, they think the thing that makes them successful is their edge. What I've learned is sometimes you're successful in spite of your edge. And what how do you take that out and reflect and see? So.
But so that actually changed? Did that take away from you, or did it add more fuel to you? Like, what was that empty space like? Like, what was that empty home?
Dude,
like? What was those nights like?
I started having anxiety attacks. Yep. I had to go see a therapist. I'd walk around with a rock. He made me squeeze a rock in my pocket every time I'd have an anxiety attack. Wow. And like, I was like the positive mental attitude guy, right? Like, mindset. And here I was, my body, I'd feel like I'm having heart attacks just out of the blue. So it was a lot of therapy for a while. And then I decided eventually to move to Silicon Valley, to San Francisco from the East Coast of Canada. And that's where I got introduced to a completely different way of building and scaling companies where, okay, there's 4 ways to get leverage. Most people don't know this. You know, it's content, code, capital, or collaboration. There's only 4 C's, right? And once I understood that, then I figured I learned what I needed to get better at. Those are the 4 things to get leverage. So time is a constant. Multiplied times leverage equals output. So if you want more output, you want more revenue, you want more growth, it's not time, it's leverage. So how do you get more leverage? I learned how to use capital, right? I learned how to raise capital. I've raised over $650 million for myself and companies I've involved in. Wow. Code, right? Think about automation, AI today, GPT. That's all code. Most people don't know how to use technology to get leverage. Right. Third one is content, which this is a perfect example. Fixed cost to produce. 10 million people watch this. Does it cost you more? Nope. Huge. But where does that show up in a business? Playbooks, systems. You know, we were just talking, Nathan, about checklists. Right. So that's the content side. And then collaboration is the people side. Right? Like, how do you work through other people to get work done so that you're never the bottleneck? And those are the 4 master skills. And that's what I had to learn so that I can be a great dad, be a great husband, be a great person in my community, and still go crush it in business. And that unfortunately I had to go through that pain to figure it out.
So there is technically a balance if you buy your time back.
Dude, it is not only a balance, dude. Full-on integration. Like, it's better than I thought it could ever be. Wow. Way better. because it's essentially allowing you to express yourself to the fullest potential without never feeling like there's something to go fix because you did that. Like I can be here with you guys. I think I've got a ton of podcasts, right? I got an executive assistant. She's managing. I got my team here. They're monitoring. I can be 100% present with you guys because I don't have to worry about what's happening next. I'm just going to show up and I'm going to love on the people I meet. Right. And I mean, that's the thing I think everybody wants to do.
It's just being present.
Dude, I just want, when I'm with my kid, man, I don't want to worry about the inbox. I don't have to worry about text messages. There's nothing that's important that, like, when I'm hanging out with my son or Max or Noah, I'm like, I'm just with you.
Wow.
And I think that's the biggest gift.
Well, I mean, I think
so. I wrote the book.
I think he reached a level of seeing that just because you felt like the not having a balance was going to be detrimental. But I hear there's two different aspects to it, right? There's not having a balance, and people are like, oh, I mean, you just won't have a balance at certain points in your life. But then you get to a point where you want that balance. So do you believe in just establishing that balance for all entrepreneurs, whether at 21, 19? Like, when is the balance not
Dude, I've taken
appropriate?
15-year-olds and taught them the Buyback Principle. And in the first year, guess what the first hire they're making? An assistant.
Wow. 15?
You know how crazy that is? It doesn't matter. If you start a business as fast as you possibly can, make revenue, go get an executive assistant. Nobody's ever told anybody that because they think, well, I'm not that fancy. Why can't I do my own inbox? Why can't I manage my calendar?
Most people aren't profitable to hire people.
Perfect. So, go, and you can't. So what else can you do? Intern, right? Most people, their biggest time assassins is actually not enough time. It's themselves. Dude, I haven't drank in 11 years. Why? Because I knew I shouldn't be drinking.
Wow.
The amount of time I've gotten back by not drinking, I don't need a team. Like I just got back like a full Sunday, a Saturday afternoon. You know what I mean? Like, so a lot of it is just like wasted time. But if you're at capacity, then go get an intern, man. Like go call the local college and say, who's your top student? He needs experience. I need a person to help out. And then in that 3-6 month period, you got them. Just get your business figured out so you've got a little bit of profit so you can maybe keep them around or hire somebody else. But dude, you can hire an executive assistant in the Philippines for $4 an hour and they're really good. So these are just beliefs or ignorance they just don't know about. But once you know, then you just, how fast can I buy? Literally the unlock, when you talk about balance, I do believe there are sprints within a marathon. I do believe that. I think there's seasons where it's like, I'm going hard in the paint.
You gotta be
We're doing it.
You're working weekends.
I'm going to make it happen. But if you're in that mode, let's just be efficient about it. Let's not be wasteful. Let's not just think I got to work harder to get through this. Let's be a little bit more thoughtful about the value of our time. I think young people have it hardest because they think they have all the time in the world. And that's true. But wouldn't you want to get to the place that you want to enjoy your life faster? Like I don't want my dreams to be this thing I build eventually. I want them now. Right? So
I don't want to be the 60-year-old guy in a Lamborghini.
No, dude. I want it now, dude. When you're older and you're going on vacation, you don't even want to take your shirt off because you feel flat and fat. You know what I mean? Like you want to be young and doing that. So I hope that's motivation for young people to say buy back their time. You cannot build $1 million company off $10 tasks. It's impossible.
But most people, I think their thing is fear of missing out, which I was explaining to Sean what it's a saying that goes, choose your regrets. So you can choose to either work now, party later, or party now and worry about work later. But either way, you're going to, at some point,
you're going to have to choose.
Choose your
I mean, Jeff Bezos calls it regret minimization, right? At the end of the day, make a list of all the things. And there's been books written about this, right? The top 5 regrets of the people that have died, right? And just like front load those. But here's the thing, Wayne, I actually think people can have it all. I think you can have a very ridiculous sized business and have time for your family and go and party.
Wow.
If you're willing to follow the process. But if you want to let your trauma, emotions create issues, most people, the challenges in their businesses, it's them creating what I call emotional shrapnel, right? It's somebody messed up, and instead of being like, hey, where did the process drop the ball? They go, the person's an idiot. And they'll say something like that. Well, the person's not an idiot. You didn't train them properly. When I go to work, nobody works for me. I work for them. Do you think that there's that subtle frame of mind? So most people just haven't become the person who can deal with more. They wish that the problems stop happening. It never stops. The problems get bigger. You should just wish that you became more so you can deal with bigger things. I call them factor of 10. $10 problems, $100 problems. When you start off, your cell phone bill is an extra $100. You freak out. You call the company, what is in the States, like AT&T or whatever. And it's like, you guys, blah, blah, blah. Dude, you should hope you should have $10,000 problems. Friggin' Richard Branson just had a $1 billion problem when he had to shut down his Galactica company that went public. Oprah gets sued for $1 billion. She's grateful she's the person who has the means to be sued for $1 billion. Right. People wish that the problems went away and they never go away. You just become more. So run to that. Create the space in your calendar to develop the skills, to develop the beliefs, develop the character traits to do more. So you can have it all if you're willing to just do the work.
He said, forget having $100 problems. You can have $10,000 problems.
Hell yeah, man. Go like find them. Run to the problems.
Right.
Wow. You mentioned anxiety attacks earlier. Do you still get those, or did you overcome that?
No, I don't anymore.
Now you just get on a jet and be like, my anxiety's bad. Take me somewhere.
Well, you know what it is now is I teach this. Right. I think it's like chapter 8. It's perfect week. Is I design my weeks to have there's no anxiety to build up. Right? Anxiety comes from
worry.
Worry.
Yeah,
I don't have worry because I'm on path. I know what I'm here to do. I know that nothing needs to be done, nothing has to be done, but it can be done. And if it doesn't get done, great, that's totally fine.
And if it doesn't, oh well.
Dude, I have zero. I'm breathing right now. I'm here with you guys. Life is great. And
I think people are more jealous of that.
They should be. It's an awesome place
to live. Material.
They should be.
I feel like more people are jealous of the fact that you don't worry about things and the things that you actually possess, because the worrying is what most people have trouble with, right?
Do you know 90% of the pain somebody fears or feels is the fear of an outcome that never happens?
Whoa,
all the time.
That's crazy.
The chick will say, you're gonna break my heart, like we just met yesterday.
You're creating internal pain about something that hasn't happened. So my rule is I control the controllables. I can't control whatever happens externally, the economy, the whatever. But when it happens, I can respond. So I don't think about the things, and that is something. It's a skill, and it becomes a character trait because it's based on beliefs. So I think people should lean into that. But you don't even have time to think about that stuff if you're busy doing.
Yeah.
That's why, I teach people the buyback loop. I want them to free up their time so that they can fill it with things that are going to develop them to become more, to have more. Yeah. And people think it's the be do have. They think once I have, then I'll be the person, then I can do the cool stuff. But the truth is it's not to have first, it's to be. It sounds so crazy, but you got to be the person first to then have to go do the stuff you want. And that is a hard thing for people to understand is they're like, what do you mean? It's like, here's a great way to think about it. If I took all the money in the world right now, okay, there's 3.2 trillion exchanged today, and I evenly distribute it to everybody's pockets. We kind of tested this recently with the pandemic. And what do you think would happen within the next 16, 18 months? It'd be back in the hands of the people that had it originally. Why? Because the people that had it think, well, if I have it, then I'll be that person. People think I want to be a millionaire. Having $1 million in your bank account doesn't make you a millionaire. Being the person that knows how to manage $1 million makes you a millionaire.
Right.
Dude, that idea is a big idea that I think is lost on people. You should be happy you didn't get the million yet because you're not the person who can receive it yet. And the stuff you're going through right now is getting you ready to become the person who can receive the things you've been asking for.
Wow.
Dude, this is like the game that I wish somebody would have sat me down at 17 and said, you think it's about working, you think it's about the task, like I got to go sell, I got to go market, No, you got to go work on yourself.
Well, we're being taught, all of us are being taught by inexperienced people, which is our parents. So that concept, it's just trickle down effect. So we could talk about what's it called, the generational curse, but I think every family suffers with that just because of the knowledge that's being passed along, and it's all the same knowledge.
Yeah.
Work hard, go to school. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's 9 to 5.
Don't be afraid to pick up garbage if that's what you're asked for. You're not above it. All these things.
Right.
Here's the thing, though, is my philosophy, because I think like I love my parents, and obviously we had a lot of challenges growing up that today it's, you know, you'd see us, like my dad travels with me to my events, my mom's like, I talk to her, like it's kind of bananas where I grew up to the relationship I have today. You know, I have 2 brothers and a sister, and we have a beautiful relationship. But I learned a long time ago that I can't ask my parents for advice for my life.
You can't,
Because if I want to achieve something they've never achieved, then if I ask them for advice, what am I going to get? I'm going to get advice on getting the same thing they receive, because that's all they could ever get.
That's it.
It doesn't mean they don't love me. It doesn't mean I don't ask them for advice.
They
my
can't
dad.
teach you what they don't know.
Yeah, so it's just so the idea is like big life decisions. Where do I go to school? Should I be in this relationship? Should I start a business? All that stuff. If you ask your parents, you're actually working against yourself, unless your parents, you know, is Bill Gates. You know what I mean? Like unless they're super successful. That's why mentorship is required.
Yeah.
Finding somebody who's been there before to be able to ask the big decisions, not how do I manage my assistant. Don't waste somebody's time.
So you ended up getting married again.
Dude, I have a beautiful wife. Yeah.
Okay, so how did that happen?
A lot of work. I had to
On
go.
you, right?
Yep,
On you.
100%. I had to go to San Francisco, understand there's a different way to build companies. That created the space for me to do the work. You know, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Like, dude, I did the work. I went to the events, the way of the superior man. Like, I did it.
You worked on you.
Had to.
Yeah.
Because I was scared. After that happened, I literally had thoughts. Maybe I'm always just gonna have to, you know, reside to being the rich uncle. Maybe I'm not supposed to be in a relationship. Maybe I should just move to Miami and be that guy, the perpetual bachelor.
Right.
But in my heart, man, I want to have kids. I didn't want to not have that, but I knew I just wasn't. It wouldn't have been fair to another person to be in a relationship with that version of Dan. So I had to become the person who could attract. Same principle. Like I knew what I wanted. That the biggest gift I got from that failed relationship was being very intentional for who I wanted to attract, and then asking myself, well, who would that person want to be with? Because I wasn't. That person who's an entrepreneur and driven and beautiful and athletic and positive and all these things, they wouldn't put up with me.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Some people want to attract a partner that, like, dude, you ain't that cool. Like, let's be honest. You want all these things from a partner. It's like, what are you bringing to the table?
Yeah.
So I had to go, like, build that to eventually be ready to receive.
Wow.
And then you received it. It was all good.
Yeah, man. She hit me up on Twitter. Again,
Yeah,
I was
right.
ready.
For real?
I was ready. She did. She
slid
says
in?
she says she doesn't, but it's public, so I found it. I love you, Renee. But she messaged me. She was like, "I saw you're speaking. I'd love to pick your brain." I like creeped out her profile. I was like, "Yeah, we're for
Come
sure
pick it.
done. Come pick it."
Pick it.
And I remember that the first meeting. I was
Yeah.
like, "What are you doing tonight?" And she's like, "Oh, I got, you know, whatever." And I was like, "We're going for dinner." I was ready for that. I became the person who, you know, could show up with
So
the
you guys met on
confidence.
Twitter?
We met on Twitter in person in Toronto at an event I was speaking at.
Yeah.
Nice.
And maybe within, I think it's 4 months, I convinced her to move to San Francisco and start to build a life together.
That's cool. You've had massive success in the business world. How do you choose your business partners? Because that's something a lot of people struggle
Beautiful
with.
question. One of them sitting right over there. It's my media partner, Sam. Here's the thing, man. I think first and foremost is like you should partner with people that inspire you, right? Even though I'm successful,
Right.
like I'm inspired by you guys in this space, man. This
Thank
is
you.
beautiful. Like you meet people that do things, you know, that it's inspiration is where were they and where are they at today.
Right.
It's not about like how much money you have.
Yeah.
It's how much
You've
adversity
grown.
did you overcome.
Yeah.
That inspires me. It could be the person that's a paraplegic that climbs Kilimanjaro. Like, fuck, game on. I remember I did an Ironman last year, and like I think it's a 16-hour cutoff. The people that are coming in at hour 15, 50 minutes are way more inspiring than me. Like, I'm sitting there at the finish line. I stayed up till midnight cheering these people on.
Wow.
Right? Yeah. So for me, a business partner is somebody I admire that inspires me. That's first and foremost. Somebody I'd want to spend time with. Then it's somebody that I can collaborate with. I think life's like, if I think about what makes a great business, is co-creation. And again, some people are really good solopreneurs and they don't realize that that's the biggest thing holding them back. They don't know how to partner. They don't know how to share. They don't know how to co-create. They don't know how to have conflict in a healthy way. Cool. Then you will always be, you know, the person that has a business. But when you can start partnering with people that are on their own incredibly talented, driven, can build their own organization, and you plus them equals more.
Enterprise.
Man, dude, I've done this, like, I've probably partnered with 60 people at a meaningful level.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Well, it's not hard. Dude, I was talking to your Nathan guys, like, dude, let's go do this up in Canada. I don't know. Like, I'm seeing opportunity all around me. And if you have resources because you bought back your time, you have the space to have these conversations, then I think that's a big thing. So, yeah, business partners for me are people that inspire, that are willing to do the work. We share the same values. I remember one time I started my very first company that succeeded. I had 2 failures and then finally kind of figured it out. When I started, I hired these 3 guys that were essentially supposed to be my partners. Gave them each 10%. We're going to start this off. The first Saturday rolls around and I say, guys, we got to meet up. We got to talk about strategy because on Monday we got to do the work. Right. And one of the guys, Martin, says, I'm not going to come. And I was like, why? He goes, dude, I don't want to be whatever you guys are about to go do. Like, that sounds like a lot of work and I'm good now. Like, I just don't want to do that. No problem, bro. He wasn't there when we exited. And again, dude, I don't mean to flex, but sometimes you got to go let people know, right?
Yeah.
And to wake them up. Like, the amount of people, I just think about it when so first company was Spheric, exited that at 28. Then I went and did another company, Flowtown, exited that at 30. I essentially did 3 companies in 10 years. Every time I've exited, I just think of all the people that came that couldn't hang. Think about it. You guys, like, how many people have come, interns, employees, that they just couldn't hang?
It's a lot.
I know. There's a lot of names, dude. I think when I sold Flowtown, there was like 100 and some people's names on that list. Yeah, because look, we're showing up to do the work, and there's gonna be challenges, and we got to overcome it, and you got to be willing to partner.
You got to show up every day.
So I just think of that as like, I want people that are willing to go to war with me. Yeah, not like physically like anger, but just like I trust you got my back, dude. Sure. You got that in a partner, it's game on.
Man, Dan, I love your mindset, man, especially knowing how you grew up through the foster system, going to prison and all that, and to see you now, it's truly inspiring for
Thanks,
real.
Man.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to close off with?
Yeah, I think every person, because I think this will really serve the listeners, I think everybody's here to do 2 things. Okay, I'm a person of faith. I believe in my Creator. And I believe, 1, we're here to become the best version of ourselves.
Right.
I call it the 10.0 version of ourselves. And the 10.0 is like, think of like all the best moments powerfully you showed up with confidence, and like they might be sprinkled out, right? Where you're super creative. If you brought all that together, like all those moments into one day, and you like showed up, the day you were on your fitness game, your work stuff, you're hitting everything. If you could just show up as that 10.0 version of yourself, or at least strive to be that person 100% of the time. That's one. Like, am I on that journey? That 1% better. Like when I meet my maker, I believe he created me in his image, and I'm going to meet the person that he created me in. Dude, I don't want that person to be a stranger. I think that would be hell.
Yeah.
I think that is actually the definition of hell.
I read something that said that yesterday. Real hell is the person you are today meeting the person that you were supposed to be.
Whoa, that's trippy.
They said that is real hell.
When
I read that, I was like, I actually posted. I was like, that's powerful.
I'm going to be stealing that, Wayne. I love
powerful.
that. And so that's one. And then the beautiful part about that is, if you're on that journey, the second part is share that person with the world. Give yourself to the world. I don't care if it's to your kids, to your wife, to your community, to whoever. Dude, holding that, the things you've learned, who you've become, not sharing that publicly. Like, you push me, man. I appreciate it. Hey, dude, like, you need to flex this. How can I be inspired if I don't know these things about you? I appreciate you saying that, because that's what I'm saying. I need to get better being okay, letting people know this is what but quickly tell them, but this is where I came from.
Yeah, be the result.
Yeah. And I think that if every person, think about that, if every person in the world woke up and said, how do I become the best version of myself? And then share that process with the world, I think everybody would just find a different purpose, a different vision for their life. They would have a bigger why. And that's what I hope to encourage people and invite them to consider.
Love it, man.
Yeah. Hit me up on Instagram, guys. I'm on Instagram. I love Instagram. Double L to Martell, Dan Martell. Follow me, send me a message. Let people know that I was on this. You found me. I'd love to serve people.
Gotcha, man. I'll put the link in the bio.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, guys. That was a great episode. See you next time.
Peace.